I wanted to give a quick little tutorial on using PLA as a support interface layer or the other way around. These settings should work fine for either direction. There are some really important settings in this to make that you does well. But you can see with this particular model, the amount of the big issues that people have with the AMS system is how much waste is. Well, this has 2 filament changes. You could have a little bit more and it would be just fine. I had to do some weird things. So I manually added this support. So this is my wall here, and there is that one, yeah. What a Okay, so what I've done is I've added a little support interface layer there, manual one. So then in the model, did a whole layer thing. When you import this, it doesn't show up all pretty like that. It shows up like this. It all has split time to parts. Yeah, get it switched to parts. Then over in the objects tab, we can take a look at this, and I already know that now those are the same, but because I also need to make these for my, so, which now we've gone, let's take a look at this, go down. So this is something you always want to do is inspect. So this is unfortunate. Not figure out a way to make it recognize the separate parts as separate parts. So this is if you're doing your own DIY interface, support interface. So if you're doing your own designing, you could do it like this, but then this is a problem. Then we can also apply settings that go back to prepare. We can select all bottom piece, this bottom piece, and those. So over here in strength, we can add a bunch of walls and slice plate. So now these are solid. Our centerpiece eventually becomes itself. Those end up connecting. So this is a, if your printer is dialed in, it'll be able to do that kind of overhang. Then you can see right there, that's a center open piece. That's going to print just fine. It'll be able to do that overhang. It won't be the most beautiful thing ever, but it's also not a, the metal piece is going to, that's but so that's one part of the puzzle is doing this like your own manual support. What's really good about that is you can placement. Now, of course, you do have to do some hacky thing, whole with wall loops thing. You could go and do we could do add a modify. Say you could add a cube, resize the cube where you want it, then go in, change something. You could go in and then through this, you could change the wall settings. That would affect the whole as so that is, yeah, that's how to manually do it. But then if you don't have that stuff, so we want to select these split objects, only want to keep this. We want to delete everything. So I have, and I will, I'll upload this, which again, it goes either way. There's just some manual things you need. Second part of the tutorial. So we're using the inbuilt supports. Now this isn't as good because you end up using more layer change. So if we just do this as tree, we want the support interface to be PLA, and we want the support of the raft base to be so the object. You could also do it as alt. And so then we slice it and let's see what happens. So you noticed we have more waste. Go down here, and so it has decided that it wants to support everything. That's we don't need that. So this is the kind of place where you can do like a cylinder support blocker or something. In fact, I'll go ahead and add support blocker, cylinder, put it to the center. I want to scale it, something. Add support blocker, tortoise. Up. Something. What I care about is blocking of the excess. There we go. Plate. It uses less support now, and it's pretty close to what I designed. There still is like multiple layer changes, so there's more layer changes. More of a chance that something can go wrong with the mixing of the material. So that's the very last section I have for you. Okay, so once you have your support how you like it, you want to make sure, oh, I bungled that. I don't feel like recording this again. Yeah, so you have the support how you like it. That's great. Now you need to make sure of some settings. One issue is choosing your material. I highly recommend that you get something along the lines of PLA Plus that can take high temps. Reason is that if you use, say, PETG and then you set it to like freaking 270, there are points where if you just use the default setting, it'll just sit there at 270 while it is doing the filament change, cooking your PLA or PLA Plus, and then you have a nozzle clog, and then you need to replace the nozzle, and it's like just a whole frustrating thing. So with the material, I went and I set it the minimum 220, max 240, 220 at all the layers, and then saved this as support. Then with the PETG, and this is like the big core, like the core of the thing. The PETG 230, 240, 240, 240. Maybe it could go higher. But this way it locks it in that area. The other super important thing that you have to every single time, like get this tattooed on your hand or something, flushing volumes. I wish that there was a way to check a box that was like, no, really flush all of this out. I want it to be maxed. With the PETG or the PLA, whenever you have a mistake, they don't stick. You can see that in the purge tower. You can take the purge tower and you can just layer by layer. It's beautiful and amazing when you want that, but when you don't want that and it's the main part of your model and you're having to like, oh, this sucks, I got to tear this apart. Yeah, that's really horrible. And if we just did the recalculate, okay, sure, yeah, it's red to white, so it's going to be high. But then but then the red to the white, or the white to the red, it's lower. So no, we want those to be same. We want it to fully flush out both ways. And you need to check that each and every single time because it will recalculate upon color changes. The other thing you can do is completely ignore what color you actually have and walk over there to your printer and set it as like white and red or black and white so that you can really obviously see what it is. So then with this one, I could go with this toroidal shape, and I could go ahead, scale it, then bigger, make it a little bigger, reposition it, and slice. Then I've gone, and let's see, yeah, I've whatever. But the main point is that it's now flushing only 14. So then we go and we print this. This might be a good test piece. Maybe you'll have some other thing you can do as a test piece. But like if you're printing your colors, and the other thing is try to make your real filament as different as possible. If you're printing in white and yellow is your PLA, so PETG is white, yellow is PLA, and you see like little bands of yellow in your main piece, then you probably forgot to do the flushing volumes. And that's why it's breaking apart at the seams there. So it's still flushing out those things. The other thing you can do is you can go to your general others, and you could like make your prime tower like bigger, and that will also help. So you'll be flushing more and you'll be getting rid of more materials, but then you'll also have like nearly perfect support material. So this is the last thing I wanted to show. This is a model Robin Cross Arms Final. It's something that I found on Thingiverse many years ago, and I have always wanted to do a print of it that would do it justice. So the first thing we'll do is open up the flushing volume. Always do this every time. So if we recalculate this, we can see that that is not good. If we ran this print right now with number 2 as the support interface, we would have a bad time. So we'll go ahead and change it in X format, all of them to 100. Recorded this like 3 times. There we go, 800, okay. And with that, it is less likely to mess up badly with the filament change. Lots of waste. Also, it's not going to screw up, and it's also going to be a pretty looking model. It's done. This is actually a model that is non-manifold, something like that. And so I ended up adding like internal support structure to the model. Oh, let's see. Are you going to freeze? No, it does not. Okay. So this is really fun. I did tree, and it is using the majority of whatever it is going to use on that layer. So this is something that if you'd done it as like the regular PLA support layer, like something could go horribly wrong. Go all the way down to the bottom, and already that's a bad sign. So that's the PETG, and already you can. This is sort of some craziness. But how long is this? This is a 3-day print. I don't know if I'm gonna actually do this, but I sort of want. But so we're going up, and we can see the tree. It's even having some, yeah, it's this is the back of the little dress thing. I am absolutely sure that's gonna but let's see. This is like the craziness, and it looks like that would maybe work. I don't know if that would work. But this is where it gets into the nitty gritty of like, say, changing settings and stuff, and like where you go back and forth, and you're being like a, a slicer engineer. So then that's a great example of what will happen. It's gone. It has added the PETG, and then it goes up, and it's I'm gonna have to look at this and weigh it again. The other funny part is because it's open in there, it has PETG and tree support on the inside. I'm just gonna leave the tree support on the inside if and when I do this. But yeah, it is some exceptional weirdness. But it based on some of the things that I've seen before, this would still do a very good job. Um, Especially if you've tuned it and you've tested like little parts. Like I'll probably just do like a bust test and see how well it's able to handle all of this weirdness. Does it well, then I'll go ahead and commit to doing the 3-day print and probably move the UPS into the but then you can take a look over here and you can see where it does a whole bunch of the PG whenever it's in the prime tower. And so that whenever you take this prime tower and you like break it in your hand, it's going to be especially fragile. And then see other layers where it's partially, yeah, there we go. So like say this one, this layer, that's not going to break apart as easy because it's got PLA over here and PLA over here. And then, but yeah, there's some extra weirdness on the side. And yeah, so that is how to do that. I'll try to edit this and add like photos into it. If I don't do that, whoops. I don't really do this as a big or anything. I'll include a link to this character. It's just really cool. I'm gonna once I have it figured out, I'll upload this model to make it's of a license where I can do it freely. And of course I'll link back to the. But yeah, good luck. PETG, PLA, send me like a message if you have a problem, and I can help out. I will upload the previous thing as something that you can download.